So today is study our class for entering middle way. So today we have almost 12 people who attend by Zoom. So we have been studying the entering middle way for many days, for many classes. Also in the past, we studied the will of Dharma, our Four Noble Truths, then the liberation in your plum, and great treatise by Lama Tsongkhapa, also the meditation on the middle stage, the light for enlightenment. So we had many classes about Dharma. If we reflect what we really accomplished for studying Dharma for many years, so we need to know how much we learn. Also, we should not think in the future we will continuously learn Dharma for many years, because most of us over like 50, so our life is not, that long will go, maybe not more than 30 or 40 years. If we survive 40 years, we have only 20 years to study Dharma, to be able to practice Dharma. In the 20 years, we cannot study much. Therefore, we really need to think how much I learned Dharma for many years. Second, also we should not think I continuously will learn Dharma, because most of our all, qualified teachers are 70 plus, 80 plus, 90 plus. They won't have a really time to teach us for another 20 or 30 years. For example, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who recently, passed away unexpectedly because he was, I think, facing altitude sickness, whatever. So anyway, he passed away. This is really big loss for all the students in the APMT in general. Also, there are so many students who follow Lama Zopa, have been receiving teaching, have been receiving advice, have been receiving blessing, even though include, the pet dogs and cats and animals. Somehow, so now we don't have any time to receive teaching from him. Therefore, we should not think, we will learn continuous Dharma for our gurus. So we really have to prepare. We need to make a conclusion or practice how I should practice Dharma, what Dharma I should practice. If we keep going and keep learning continuously, at the end, we really don't have something in our mind to, to able to practice Dharma a very simple way. Because we just, buying things from every shops, we didn't put in order. So when you're in the house, you confuse. Likewise, we have so many knowledge, or we learn so many things, but we really don't know how to put all knowledge together to simply practice the Dharma. Also, is a really big loss, which is the Lama Zopa passed away. So for this thing happen for your life, it strongly reminds us, love is impermanent, uncertainty, we can, go anytime. Our friends and family can go anytime. Our gurus can go anytime. Remain us impermanent. Also, all the students or disciples of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, please, you pray to the Buddhas at Tripaljen to have a unmistaken reincarnation and continually study Dharma. In the future, continuously, he will teach Dharma for all sentient beings. So many people, some in a way, they say, okay, he passed away, but we hope the reincarnation will come back. Coming back, the reincarnation is, let's say, it's a common, quite simple. The most important one, the reincarnation must possess all the Dharma knowledge. He or she must possess all the good qualities as the current Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Otherwise, the reincarnation cannot much benefit to the all the centers, all the human beings, all sentient beings. Therefore, the reincarnation must be, we pray to the Tripal Gem, we should have an unmistaken reincarnation. The reincarnation will possess all the Dharma knowledge, possess all the teacher qualifications. Then the reincarnation can benefit for many sentient beings as the current Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And also tomorrow, Sunday, we cancel the class because many of the students who attend the Yamantaka's teaching, directly, indirectly, they have a connection with the Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So they will attend for prayers for next few days. So therefore, we need to cancel on the Sunday class. So how we should, put all the knowledge into practice, very simple way. It's a very simple, for example, entering middle way, the salutation to the compassion is very simple, explained very clearly. Great compassion, bodhicitta, the wisdom which is realizing emptiness are the main, practice, like a really, really solid foundation to practice the Mahayana path for achieving Buddhahood. Particularly the verses about prayer to compassion, paying, homage to the compassion that takes sentient being as is object. First, with the thought, I am. They cling to self. Then with the thoughts mind, they become attached to the things. Like buckets on the water wheel, they run without control. I bow to the compassion that cares for such as suffering beings. This is a kind of conclusion of the Mahayana practices. First, Chandrakirti introduced us what is the actual root, the primary root of the suffering, the primary root of all the afflictive emotions. Therefore, first, with the thoughts is a mind, the mind grabs, clinging on the self. I, or me, you, we cling, we grasp as a self, just single, look like a single. They cling onto the self. Then with the thoughts, there's a thought, the thoughts, grabs the I as an independent I, exists safely. Then there's a second, the thoughts become trigger to grabs mind as an independent. Therefore, second is with the thoughts mind. So we have a mind which is clean, I and mind as an independent. This true grasping, the true self-grasping of the I, self-grasping of the mind become trigger to arising, attachment, become attached to the things. That means how we have a ignorance. The ignorant became like a trigger to attach to all the things around us. Then the analogy here, like buckets on the water wheel, they turn without control. Therefore, the ignorance, the true self-grasping, cause to arise attachment, anger, hatred, ego, jealousy. Then all the afflicted emotion cause us to engage into karma or actions. The action can be positive actions, action can be negative action, but both action can be caused to born in samsara. So when we born in samsara, we were born with our body. So then we have all our belongings. Then we again attach to our body, attach to our belongings. Then the attachment anger again, accumulate karmas. There's no such as we can control. It's just going around. The grasping causes to arise all the afflict emotions. All the afflict emotion cause us, they push us to engage into actions. Then the action are the cause us to born in samsara. Then again the ignorance, attachment, arise. This look like really, cycle existence. It's cycle without control. Like the buckets on the water wheel. So today we will study about the water wheel. There are the 6 analogy. Page number 48. If you have a books, 48. First aspect is that this consistent world of sentient being is bound very tightly by the rope of karma and afflictions. Right? The constant world, the world refer to the samsara. So we sentient beings are tightly bound very tightly by the rope of karma and the afflictions. Right? That means how and why we are in samsara for billions of years. Because we, all sentient beings, bound very tightly with the world, tied by what? The karma and afflictions. The analogy, the water wheel bound by ropes. This is one analogy. The second, this world of sentient being is propelled by consciousness, which is the analogy to the operator who set the water wheel in the motions. Then the karma, emotions, the samsara, everything triggered by the consciousness. The water bucket, they bound, tied on the wheel by operator, the person who operate the wheel. That means, so the afflictive emotion, the karma, everything actually caused by, triggered by the consciousness. Then analogy number 3, it is torture or tortoise from the depths of the great river of the cycle existence, from the peak of the existence down to the hill of the Avixi, with no travel at all. Then the bucket wheels go carry water, go into up, then again go down all the way to the bottom of the wheel. Right now we are in the middle of the wheel because we are human being, right? Human being. Due to our, like a powerful positive karma, maybe we can born into the highest state of the samsara. Still, we are in samsara, we possess all the suffering. Then due to negative karma, again, we take a rebirth into lowest realm like a hell being, hungry beings. That's why how we have been in samsara for millions of years. Therefore, it traveled down to the lower realms on its own, which is no need for exertion, while it is required great effort to draw it upward to the highest realms. Just imagine when you release the will go down very easily, no need to put any effort, just go automatically. So when we pull up the will, we need to put a lot of effort. This means accumulating negative karmas, engage into negative action, taking a rebirth into lower realm is very easy. Accumulating positive merit, positive action, born into higher realm is much difficult. Therefore, what Buddha said, the beings from the higher realm to lower realms going like a Ganges sand, right? Ganges sand. Every day, billions of sentient beings, born into lower realms, like a Ganges sands, the Ganges river sands. Then lower realm, taking rebirth from lower realm to higher realms, he just touched his finger on the ground. He showed few kind of numbers of like a dust. So taking rebirth in the higher realm is look like that the sand in my fingers. So difficult, very little. Then number 5. There are 3 afflicted classes with the 12 link of dependent origination. So we always talk about the 12 links interdependence. All 12 links we can divide into 3 categories, 3 kind of like groups. There are the 3 afflictive classes within the 12 links of interdependence. Number 1, affliction of ignorance, craving, appropriation. These are afflicted one. Then the second is a karma, namely volition and becoming. Among the 12, 2 is a karma. Then affected birth, and namely the 7 remaining links. That means, afflicted emotions, ignorance, craving, appropriation. The karma, becoming. Then affected birth, namely the 7 remaining. 7 remaining also the affected birth, affected kind of karma, affected emotions. 12 all you can divide into 12 into 2. And on a daily basis, this world is assailed by the suffering of change, the suffering of the precepts conditioning. Therefore, this world of the transmigrating beings is nothing but a condition akin to the perpetuate moving water wheel. So this sixth analogy is a very simple, but very easy to understand the nature of samsara. Here first you need to every moment we need to practice the two bodhicitta, conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. Sometimes you can practice these two separately. Sometimes you can practice these two, unionally together. For example, in the early morning, when when you wake up, when you open your eyes, you can see something. When you see any objects, it reminds you the human beings or other sentient beings who cause to have this object. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you can see a light, the electric light. Remember those people who are working for the electricity. Then remembering the person can be trigger to remember all sentient beings. After you woke up, you go your restroom and toilet. You can see the water. So when you go in the kitchen, you can see like a milk, fruit, like bread, omelette, cheese. All this object must be trigger you to remember those people, those animals who produce this phenomena, this object. Remembering them must be trigger to practice compassion. Now you can see you are generating compassion based on remembering their kindness, their compassion, their effort. So when you remember those sentient beings, second, you must remember me and those sentient beings, me and those human beings. Right now we are in Singapore, most of us are in Singapore. So when you eat a cheese, cheese maybe come from the Europe country. When you eat rice, the rice comes from Thailand, Burma, India, China. So when you eat like a meat, other fruits come from Russia. Also, there are so many things in your house, in your country, is come from like Africa. So you must remember, all these human beings are physically, we are distant. We are living far away each other. But every moment, every day, you can get the benefit from them. Then immediately you can, generate compassion. Then 3 types of compassion. Within the 3 types of compassion is include, like emptiness. So, but second, then you think, yes, those are so kind for me, not only one times, many times, many lifetimes. It is not just enough to remember their kindness, their compassion, their supports. We must think, if you are, really person with a good sense, you must think how I can repay their kindness. Kindness. For example, right now, all the disciples of Lama Zopa, all the disciples have a regret, disappointment. Immediately they think, oh, the Rinpoche is so, kind for me, it's very good for me, very important, very close to me. How I should repay his kindness, compassion. If you really think seriously how I should repay his kindness, you must think, I want to be, excellent Buddhist person. I want to be excellent students. You are becoming excellent student is the one of the great, repay his kindness. For example, His Holiness Dalai Lama asked during his birthday, so we Tibetan every year celebrate his birthday. He said, I don't need any gift from you. I don't be very, very pleased about, offering you a gift. If you are celebrating my birthday, you must remember me, my face, and practice compassion. Control your negative thoughts. Particularly, practicing compassion towards others will be the best gift for me. Therefore, how I can repay their kindness? But we human beings are, I think, one of the bad, like a sentient beings, which things get forget very easily. Even though we say, oh, this is a dog, we look down. Right? Even the dog, you haven't met the dog for like 20 years or 15 years or 10 years. When you come back, when you see the dog recognizes you. The dog can remember your kindness. The dog really, remember your love. We human being, we easily, forget what people have done good thing for us. Therefore, we always need to remember how to repay their kindness. Then second, how I should repay their kindness. There's a many ways you can repay their kindness. If you have extra food, you give to your neighbors. If you have extra food, you give to someone. If you have extra clothes, you can give to someone. You can have extra money, little bit extra. You can, offer to someone. Is one way to repay their kindness. But the repay kindness for the short time. The person also who received, the receiver can have a short-term happiness. The receiver is very hungry when you offer food. The recipient fulfill their hungry for the short time. Next, the person again feel hungry. If you give a medicine, offer medicine, the sick person can feel relief for a short time. The person can sick again. The best repay their kindness, we must think how I should, free all sentient beings from the samsara. So in order to feel, have a thoughts how I should bring all sentient beings from, free from samsara, you must have a strong kind of belief. Me and sentient beings are like a parents and child. I'm like a parent. I'm like a mother. All sentient beings on the planets, all sentient beings in the three realms are like my dear child. Dear child. Because you practice compassion, this time you need to think I'm like a mother. Those are my child. If you think you yourself as a mother, then for you much easy to practice or generate compassion. That means the mother has a good position, good food and drink and a good place to stay. For all the children having, numberless, countless suffering. Therefore, you should think how I should bring them from suffering, how I should, bring them to the happiest state. I mean, I wish all sentient beings can be Buddha, right? Can be Buddha. So then the thoughts, the true practices, practicing true bodhicitta become more like a practical. Yes, in order to bring them from suffering, in order to free them from suffering, cause of suffering, put to the everlasting happiness, happy state, I must have some knowledge. How I, free them from suffering, how I can bring them to the happiest state, I must have a certain knowledge. Therefore, the best knowledge you can have, we believe, according to Buddha teaching, we believe when we have omniscience, right? Omniscience, one of the Buddha's qualities, omniscient, you can bring all sentient beings from suffering, because then you know each of the sentient being has a different mental disposition, different desire. According to their desire, you can teach Dharma. Therefore, Buddha lifetime, almost 50 years or 45 years, Buddha taught 84,000 different teachings according to the different, like this disciple mental disposition. Then you should think, I have to be Buddha. Otherwise, I cannot fulfill their desire. Right? Desire. So, in order to become Buddha, I need to practice two important practices, which is confessional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. Right? Ultimate bodhicitta. So then how I can practice the ultimate bodhicitta, which is emptiness? Somehow, we talk like millions of times, at the end, is come into the emptiness. So, in order to become Buddha, I need to practice bodhicitta with the 5 perfections. Particularly, I need to practice ultimate bodhicitta, which is the perfections, the wisdom perfections. So until now, we stuck in samsara. Even though we practice dharma, we do meditation, right? We do meditation, we do practice, we do prayer, we do chanting, we do, practice of generosity, ethical discipline. Still, we are stuck in samsara. This means it look like, our legs, it tied to the, very strong tree with a strong, like a change, very strong rope. Doesn't matter how much you, calling to the Buddha, how much you chant, how much you do recitation, still your leg is strongly tied with a strong tree with a very strong rope. The rope is look like ignorance. Then the tree is the negation. So the ignorance, apprehend, clinging to the truly existent. Therefore, so we cannot really, escape from samsara. Even though we practice for many years, our anger, attachment is still there because we haven't realized emptiness. Therefore, what I'm saying here, as a Mahan practitioner, we have a two important practice, which is the true bodhicitta, conventional and ultimate bodhicittas. If we have this true bodhicitta, particularly the ultimate bodhicitta, then we can easily have 6 perfections. Otherwise, without the realizing emptiness, then remember the 5 perfections are look like a blunt group of blunt people. So without having any, like eyesight. Then how we should realize emptiness? Therefore, at the beginning of the chapter 6, chapter 6, identifying the object of negation, right? You no need to read books, you just remember. I let you remember. Identify the object of negation.
Chapter 9.
It's no, chapter 6. Even the one that you just listen, I think should be okay. Identify the object of negation. Chapter, yeah, you can chapter 9. Yeah, you can chapter 9. Yeah. Identify the object of negation. At the beginning of, try to realizing emptiness, we need to identify the object of negation. If we miss if we really miss to identify object of negation, then we never going to realize emptiness. At the beginning, we need to identify object of negation. There's a quotation by Shantideva, right? Without attaching upon the imputed entity, the absence of its reality cannot be grabbed. Without touching upon the imputed entity, the absence of its reality cannot be grasped. Very simple to say, we need to identify the object of negation. Without identify object of negation, we're not going to understand the absence of the object of negation. The absence of it really cannot be grabbed. Clear? So I said at the beginning, you should not think many years we have a time to practice Dharma, study Dharma, should not think. So each of the chapter, you need to get the point, identify object of negation. Otherwise, I'm not going to realize emptiness. So in order to identify object of negation, we need to identify two things. What does mean the object of negation? Also, we need to identify the innate self-grasping. Innate self-grasping. Then here what Lama Tsongkhapa said in the commentary, we need to identify object of negation. Also, we need to realize, we need to identify the ignorance, self-grasping. Ignorance or self-grasping, there's a two level. One is the gross, one is subtle. One is based on the, what is the based on the tenets, the gross one. So we need to identify the innate ignorance, the innate grasping. We must identify the innate grasping based on our own mind stream. We should not, ping pong outside. We must look at inside, think how I really grasp the phenomena around me. Therefore, I ask you to, you use a particular object, then you ask a question. How things appear to me? How the thing exists? Right? How the things exist around me? When you ask how things appear to me, first you can say, yeah, I can see the things there. Thing is seen by your eyes. At the same time, we have another thoughts. The thoughts, which is the thoughts exaggerate. They add extra quality on the object. For example, when you see someone, you can see, someone as a just ordinary person, right? Ordinary person. When you add the extra quality, then you can see the person is different than the before. Also, when you see ordinary person, when you minus the quality, good quality, when you minus, then you can see the person is different. That person is look very superior or very good, very nice. The person is very bad, very ugly. It depends on your thoughts. If you add a lot of good qualification, you can see the ugly person is look very beautiful. If you really minus, reduce the qualification of the person, you can see the good person also look very ugly. Therefore, our ignorance is I told you last time, the wisdom and the ignorance both are looking at the one object, same object. Both of them, perceiving the one object. Ignorance grabs the object is, independent object. The wisdom, grabs the object as an empty of independent entity. Therefore, they are looking to the same object. There's a different kind of aspect. So identify the object of negation. Then, in order to identify object of negation, then Lama Tsongkhapa said, we need to know, there's a two kind of philosophy schools. Within the Madhyamaka, there's two, Pasangika and Svatantika. So first, Lama Tsongkhapa explained the object of negation according to Svatantika. Therefore, the second, page number 174, identifying the grasping at true existence according to the Svatantika Madhyamaka standpoint. That means identify the grasping at the true existence according to the Pasangika Madhyamaka. All you can say in identify the grasping at the true existence according to the Pasangika. There's a two, Madhyamaka standpoints. Identify the true existence and the grasping at the true existence. Then there has a kind of quotation. What is the actually in object of the negation? What is the definition, the meaning of the true existence? Then there's a quotation from the Kamala Shilas, the light of the middle way. So you can read the quotation. Then page number 175, the last kind of sentence from the second paragraph. Understood thus, an existent, this is very important, please all of you must memorize. An existent through its own objective mode of the being. Number one is a one part. Also second, optionally, and not positive in depends on the being perceived by the cognition or posited by the virtues of the power of cognition is a constitute to ultimate final existence. So if I ask you, what is the define or definition of the object of negation according to the Svatantika, you must say, an existence through its own objective mode of the being and not posited independence on being perceived by the cognition. That is one option. Second, also you can carefully listen. An existence through its own objective mode of a being and not posited independence on the being perceived, not posited in independence by virtues of the power of cognition. There's like two options, or not posited independence on the being perceived by the cognition, or posited by the virtues of the power of cognition is a constitute to ultimate final existence. So according to the Svatantika. Now simply what you need to think, for example, you just imagine a pot or flower, you visualize a flower. According to Pasangika, so the Swatantika school, the flower in front of you it is not exist through its own objective mode of being and not positive independence on the being perceived by cognition. That the flower which you are seeing is there. It is not there as a existence through its own objective mode. It is not there by their mode, their sight. And also the flower is not there, not positive independence on being perceived by cognition. This is the object of negation. Simply, the flower in front of you is there mainly posited by power of cognition, or posited is there posited in independence of being perceived by the cognition. This is the object of negation according to Sautantika. Then next is kind of revision continuously. 176, the last paragraph. Presenting the true and the falsity within the context of worldly convention through analogy of magical illusion. That means there's a truth and falsity according to the worldly beings. Presenting the true and the falsity within the context of worldly convention through an analogy of magical illusion. Right? This means there's two types of false and truth according to worldly being. For example, when you have a dream about something, let's say you have a dream about, flying in the sky. You are flying in the sky in your dream. So when you open your eyes, we realize, yes, I'm flying in the sky. It was just falsity. It's false, not true. We can realize, right? We can realize. When you look at the bird which is flying in the sky, we're not going to realize the bird is flying in the sky is also, kind of falsity. Whether you are, your mind is influenced by tenets or not, is generally dream things we can easily understand is falsity. It's not really truth, it's false. The things around us, we not understand those also, not really truth. We think everything is there as a truth. So in order to know the truth and falsity within the context of the worldly convention through the analogy of magical illusions. Now remember the illusions, the magical illusions, as a kind of, they need a few things in order to conjure the elephant or horse. Somehow then remember there's three types of group, right? Three types of group, like what was this English words?
Magician.
Who are watching the movie?
Audience.
Spectator. There's three types of spectators. What are they? Magicians.
Whose eyes are affected.
The nurse, okay, magician and the group of their eyes affected. There's a group of person that eyes not affected. That let's say we all watching a illusion like an elephant. Now you really need to imagine, right now you are in the theater, you are watching like an illusion elephant. Then what the magician thinking about the elephant? He can see the elephant, right? He can see the elephant, but he never think. He never, apprehend this is the real elephant. Is seeing, is perceiving to me because my eyes is affected by the mantras, by the substance. I don't believe this is a real one. Second, there's a group of spectators who really believe, who really think there's a real elephant, right? Real elephant. Because they didn't realize their eyes are affected. Then there's another group of spectator who doesn't have a appearance of the elephant, neither appearance nor apprehension. They cannot see anything. Maybe he can see the magician is going around, walking around on the step. He or she cannot see anything. For them, nothing there, right? So these are the three group of people. This means the person who realizes emptiness, just realizing emptiness or realizing emptiness, those people are look like magician. For them, they can see things around them, but they never, cling, never grasp things are truly exist there. Quite clear? Truly, not truly exist there. For him, the illusory, the magician elephant, there because of the what you call the affected by the eyes consciousness, the affected eyes consciousness. Without affected eye consciousness, there's no such as elephant, right? Elephant. These are the three group of people. Now we just think about our own, experience. So we are fall into which categories? In the second categories, right? Our eyes are affected, but we haven't realized our eyes are affected. We thought there's a real elephant. So when you look at around us, when you see the flower, yes, you can see the flower. You can you can perceive the flower, but for us, the flower is there by their own modes, right? Their own modes from their side. We think there's nothing to do with my eyes consciousness. They are nothing to do with the cognition. We thought it's totally separate. The flower is there forever. Forever meaning in flower is there. The things is flower, be flower from their side, not from nothing to do with my eyes consciousness, my eyesight, right? This is very important. You really need to think. For example, right now we're in the TBC, right? So we have the Buddha statue. You can say this Buddha Shakyamuni. Who are saying? We are saying, oh, this is a Buddha Shakyamuni. Saying by us. When we leave this center, what happened to the Buddha statue? The Buddha statue is still there or not? No, because the cognition is not there. When we leave, our cognition will live with us. Right? Therefore, I said the example, another one. Before human being moved to this land, this the land, there was just piece of land, right? There wasn't Singapore. Then someone moved. Then they give a name. This kind of like Singapore, since the land becomes Singapore. Now, And somehow, if there's no, all the human being leave this place, then there's no such as we can say there's Singapore. So this is a very real thing. It's look like when there's a thoughts, the things is there. When there's no thoughts, there's nothing. Right? So you should not mix up these two things. For example, before people move in Singapore, this island, of course there was a tree. Things are there. Something is growing, something is moving, things are there. But they don't have any name. Right? There's no name because there's no human being. There's no name. Therefore, three analogy must remember. Then next one we goes to the I guess second one. Page number 178. Explaining the analogy by the relating into the actual referent. Yes, we talk about the magician. We talk about the illusory, magician, horse and things. We talk about three types of people. So what is the actual relevant? Therefore, explaining the analogy by relating into the actual referent. Just like those spectators whose eyes have been affected when outer and inner phenomena appear as a truly existent, right? Truly existent. And sentient beings grasp at these phenomena not as posited by the virtues of the power of mind, but as existing in their own right. So this is the actual understanding we need to understand. Once more, those spectators whose eyes have been affected, then when outer or inner phenomena appear as truly existent, sentient beings grasp at these phenomena not as posited by the virtues of the power of mind, but as existing their own right. This is the innate grasping at true existence that has persisted since beginningless time. Now, there's a two-part. One, explain the definition of the innate ignorance. The innate ignorance is possessed for all sentient beings, whether you are Buddhist, non-Buddhist, all sentient beings, even though like the dogs and cats and fish, all sentient being has the innate ignorance. That means it's there, always there. Because always there, we haven't realized our minds are affected by ignorance. Therefore, when we see the things, is seen by eyes, but our eyes conscious also affected by ignorance. When you pray to the Tribal Gem, we visualize the Tribal Gem. While we are visualizing, also the visualized mind also affected by ignorance. Because when we visualize, for us, all the visualized in the field of merit is truly existent there. This innate grasping at the true existence that has persisted since beginningless time. Now the next sentence, compared to the mind grasping at the object of negation as defined by the Pasangika Madhyamaka, this presentation of the Savadantika Madhyamaka is very gross and therefore does not constitute the subtle innate grasping at the true existence. Now here what we need to know, there's an object of negation according to the Savadantika school, object of negation according to Pasangika, the innate grasping according to the Pasangika, according to the Savatantaka school. So we have to differentiate very clearly. This is the negation, object of negation according to the Savatanta school. This is the innate grasping according to the Savatanta school. The object of negation, the innate graspings are gross. The definition things are very gross according to the Pasangika. When you recognize that this according to this school, then your mind is more closer to recognize the object of negation, or mind is more closer to identify the innate grasping. Clear? Then what is the point to talking about the Pasangika? Because there's a gross, not really there, not real one. So what's the point? Then, nevertheless, when the true existence as conceived by such as grasping has been negated through the reasoning, that just like a magician, when one will no longer apprehend outer and inner phenomena as a possessing a mode of existence not posited by the cognition. One will come to understand them as existing merely established by the virtues of the power of cognition, and it is those things established by virtues of the power of cognition and not invalidated by the valid cognition that are accepted to be possessed conventional existence. It is not the case that whatever the mind possessed is accept to have the conventional existence. Therefore, there's a two tradition. Particularly right now, we are studying about the Savatantika school, Madhyamaka. Then they has their own innate grasping. They have their own tradition, object of negation. So when true existence as conceived by the such as grasping has been negated through the reasoning. Right? First, let's say we realize the true existence according to the Savatantika school. So when you negate what? Negate the true existence, then one will no longer apprehend outer inner phenomena as possessing a mode of existence not posited by cognition. So when you negate the negation according to the Savatantika school, then you're not going to have a grasping, self-grasping on the inner and outer phenomena. One will come to understand them as the existence merely established by virtues of the power of cognition. So please, this paragraph you can read few times to digest the meaning. That means first you need to identify the object of negation, Pasangika. Second, you need to learn how to negate the negation according to Pasangika through reasoning. When you're able to negate the negation according to Pasangika, Savatantika school, when you're able to negate the negation through reasonings, then you will able to establish all the phenomena around us merely established by virtues of power of mind. Now we use the magician. Let's say not the magician, the spectator who are watching elephant. First, they really thought there's a real elephant, right? Real elephant. Then through study or through, like sudden research analysis, then the person notice, oh, the elephant which I perceive on the stage is due to my affected minds, right? Affected minds. When you realize the elephant is appeared to me because of my affected mind, then suddenly he realized, oh, the elephant is merely established by my mind, my cognition. When you realize the elephant is mainly established by my cognition mind, for him or her, he realized the elephant is not there without the cognition. Yes, you read more few times this stanza. Then next one is important. This is a kind of the man argue debate point between Pasangika and Swadhyanta school. Suppose our cognition posits the arising of the sprout from its seeds, right? Let's say we can see the sprout is arising from where? From its seeds. This does not contradict the sprout arising from their seeds on their own paths as well. This means the sprout is arising from the seeds. In a way, the sprout is arising from the seeds. It does not contradict the sprout arising from their seeds on their own paths. As well, similarly, things that are the basis for conjuring the illusion do appear on the path too, as horse or elephant. By this, one should understand the way all phenomena exist on the conventional level, since even the ultimate nature is established by the virtues of the appearance to the cognition. Now here, simply what Swadhyanta Madhyamaka says, let's say you are looking at the field, you can see the sprout is arising, is growing, right? Growing. Is growing from where? Growing from the seeds. Seeds. By seeds, right? Seeds. Then, now look at the Swadhyanta school. Swadhyanta school has like a true condition to establish the phenomena, like a sprout. The sprout is arising from seeds, one condition. Second, the cognition established the seeds. There's a two come together. Something from there, like sprout arising from, seeds, their own paths. Seeds on their own paths. Also, the mind established the sprout. This means the sprout is essentially there, plus the mind established. Two together, the things become sprout. Right? It's for us quite easy to accept this concept, because something little bit from the object side, little bit from the subject side, right? There's two together things there. For example, this is book, this is cup. So why this is book? Why not this is a book? Why this is cup? Why not this is a cup? That means in order to establish a book, according to this school, they think we need two conditions. One, something must be from the object side. Something must be from this side. And something from the subject side. Then these things become a books. This is not a book. This is book because it's possible if is something come say books from the subject side. From the object side, there's nothing to be nothing can be established as a book. Therefore, still according to the Swadanta school, they still believe something, from the objects objectively there. Something little bit objectively there. Not only objectively exists, not only subjectively exist together, subjectively little bit from the object side. Then things become there. Therefore, you can see from their tradition, they still believe, like a essentials, something from the object side. They're defined by anyway. So this is the very the debate point between these two schools. Then there's I thought one thing I should explain here. Let's see where it's here. Yeah, now we move the totally kind of new topic. Oh yeah, here. Therefore, the Flavian definitely not is in the. Now, at the point when the non-conceptual cognize, so non-conceptual cognize, so no, page number 179. Then the second paragraph. Now, at the point when the non-conceptual gnosis of the meditative equipoise has arisen, within that perspective, all deludic appearances are pacified. This is analogous to those spectators who, because their eyes are unaffected, have neither the perception nor the apprehension of the illusion. Right? This is the last group. So the Arya who meditate on emptiness within the meditative equipoise, there's no perceiving the conventional phenomena, nor apprehending the conventional phenomena. The meditator can perceive only emptiness. Like the spectator, when they come to the area, he or she can see just the empty ground. He cannot see elephant and horses. So this is, I think, is a kind of, for me, I always think, not receiving the conventional phenomena for the meditative equipoise, meditative on emptiness, right? The meditating on emptiness, that point, the practitioner cannot perceive the conventional phenomena. Also, they cannot apprehend the conventional phenomena, only the emptiness. Emptiness. Once more, at the point when the non-conceptual gnosis, the non-conceptual wisdom of meditative equipoise has arisen, within that perspective, all deluded appearance are pacified. This is analogy to those spectators who, because their eyes are unaffected, have neither the perception nor the apprehension of the illusion. So here what we need to think, what we need to remember, the analogy I told you in the past, when you look at on the ground level, you can see different object, different phenomena, right? Certain object makes you happy, certain object make you very upset, certain object makes you have a arousing attachment, certain object makes you arousing anger, right? Different phenomena, different color, different shape. These are the conventional phenomena. So when you look at in the sky, there's no cloud. When you look at in the sky, you can just see the empty space. There's no such a thing can cause to arouse attachment, anger. Let's say for you, let's say, if you always for 24 hours look in the sky for 1 week, you just watch, you look at the sky for 24 hours for 1 week, then there's no such attachment, right? There's no such attachment can arise because you're just focusing on the sky. While you are focusing on looking at the skies, you remember certain beautiful object can be triggered to arouse attachment. You just fully focus, just fully watch, like a single pointed, watch the sky for 24 hours. Then slowly all the afflictive emotion going to be stalled down. Exactly same. So when you use the object, use certain logics and reason, negate the negation. The negation means negate, the tool existent. Therefore, you all phenomena look like illusion. So when you realize emptiness, your mind is just absorbing the only empty of independent existence. You can see only emptiness. So you meditate on emptiness for many, many years. Then slowly the ignorance going to undermine. Then rest of the affective emotion going to pacify automatically. Right? Therefore, he say here, emptiness. So the practitioner, while he or she is meditating on emptiness, he or she cannot perceive conventional phenomena. It doesn't mean the conventional phenomena are not there. They are there. But that moment, the practitioner or meditator cannot perceive any conventional phenomena. Pacified. This is analogy to those spectre who, because their eyes are unaffected, have neither perception nor the apprehension of the illusion. Now, next new topic, giving that there will be no presentation of the unique style of negation through the reasoning by Swadhinta Madhyamaka in the subsequent sections. I will briefly explain here. That means until now, Lama Tsongkhapa mainly explain what the negation, what the innate ignorance, what is the best analogy to realize emptiness according to the Swadhinta school. But he never explained any particular logics or reasoning to negate the negation. So why? Then he's saying here, giving that there will be no presentation of the unique style of negation through reasoning by Swadhintika Madhyamaka in the subsequent sections. I will briefly explain here in a manner easy to apprehend how a phenomena would come to be perceived as an illusion, like according to the tradition, that tradition. That means Lama Tsongkhapa, he mainly focused to teach us how we can perceive things as an illusion, according to the Savatanta schools, that illusion. So how we can apprehend, how we can realize all phenomena are look like illusion. Now here, determining that all knowledgeable are subsumed by the twofold classification into the conditioned and unconditioned. The knowledgeable means all phenomena. All phenomena we can subsume into two folds. Two folds qualification. What are they? Two, conditioned and unconditioned. Clear? That means simple, you can put all phenomena into two categories. Conditioned and unconditioned. Clear? Then the conditioned things, again, things are further differentiated into material and non-material. Then the physical and non-physical things. Right? Material, physical is same thing. They make conditioned phenomena we can divide into two. Matter and non-matter, physical and non-physicals. Basis on this, the physical and non-physical, material and non-material, based on this, on then refutes the notion. We need to refute the notion that matter is composed by particles that are the partless in the sense of having directional paths. Or clear? That means based on this, and then we need to refute. What we need to refute? Things are refute the notion that matter is composed. We are not saying we need to refute the matter composed. Matter is a composed of particles. It's also truth. All the physical things composed of particles, but that are partless in the sense of having directional paths. Yes, therefore, we need to refute the notion that matter is composed of particles that are the partless in the sense of having no directional paths, such as is and so on. Right? So simply what he is saying, Lama Tsongkhapa was saying, all the material, all the phenomena, all the physical phenomena are composed by particles, but we need to refute the particle is not the partless. The particle has many parts, like eastern parts, southern parts, middle parts. When you read one more, determine that all knowledgeable are subsumed by the twofold classification into the conditioned and unconditioned. Clear? Then conditioned things are further differentiated into material and the not material. Clear? Material. Based on this, based on the material, and then refute the notion that matter is composed of particles that are partless in the sense of having no directional paths, such as is and so on. That means all the physical phenomena are composed by particles. Clear? Particles. But the particle which is compose all the physical phenomena are not the partless. It be the parts. Or clear? In the sense of having no directional paths, such as the yeast and so on. And the notion that the mental phenomena are how the physical phenomena compose. They compose by particles. Okay, particles. But all the particles are not the partless. All the particles with the parts. So we need to refute the notion all the material phenomena composed by partless particle. We need to refute. Then the known phenomena, the mental phenomena are composed of a series of indivisible points divided in temporal parts, such as the preceding and the subsequent moment. This refutation one should understand as explained elsewhere. One established in this way the logical entailment that all conditioned things are composed of parts, right? The physical phenomena also composed by parts. The non-physical phenomena like consciousness, anger, attachment, ignorance, all of them also composed by parts, not composed by partless, composed by parts. Next, if the parts and the bearer of the parts are distinct entity, they will then become unrelated, which is rejected. Now just you can we just think about one phenomenon again, that you just visualize the flower in front of you, how the flower there, how the flower, come to be like a being composed by particles. The particle which is composed of flower, the particles are not the partless particle. It has many parts. For example, let's say this cup is a particle, right? This is a particle. This particle is not the partless. It has many parts. For example, this is like eastern direction, east coast, eastern direction. This southern parts, right? Western parts, northern parts, upper part, lower part. Right? There's many parts. The particle itself has many parts. The particle is not the partless. Therefore, the material phenomena composed by particle which has many parts, not the partless. Then the the mental phenomena also composed by many parts, series of like the previous parts, the future parts, the present moment, past moment, future moment. There's not partless consciousness. They refute the refutation. One should understand the explained elsewhere. One established in this way the logical entailment that all conditioned things are composed of the parts. Next, if the parts and the barrier of the parts are distinct entity, they will not become unrelated, which is rejected. Now again, let's say one piece of flower, you can visualize one piece of flower in from you. The flower is composed by many parts and barrier. So the parts and the barrier is one entity or total distinct. The parts and barrier is total distinct, then there's no related parts and barrier, like let's say elephant and horse. Therefore, the parts and the barrier is one entity. There's no distinct. There's no totally separate. It's totally separate, they become unrelated. They will reject it. Thus, they are shown to be a single entity. Which one? The path and the barrier is just single one entity. For example, vase and the parts of the vase, flower and the parts of the flower are one entity. We're not saying they are one entity. Now, at this point, however, much on the direct one, directs one thoughts to giving things is become undeniable. The part and the barrier, though being single entity, appear they are distinct. Likewise, magical illusions. The conversion of the true fact is established. The appearance of the thing as something and the empty of it. So for us, actually, the past and barrier are just one entity. For us, when we think about a cup and the handle of the cup, upper part of the cup, below part of the cup, for us is not a totally two separate phenomena for us. But we believe the cup and the part of the cup is like two things, two entity, right? We believe, naturally we believe. In the reality, the cup and the parts of the cup is just one entity. That may for us look like, it looks like really the illusory elephant. The elephant appears as a real elephant, actually not real elephant. The parts and barriers look like two different entity, actually just one entity. That means we need to learn how all the conditioned phenomena are look like illusion. Now we go into the actual point. Here, actual point. Let's say me. Let's say everybody has a thought, I, me and mine. So me also, is me conditioned or unconditioned phenomena? Conditioned phenomena, right? Me is conditioned. Why me is conditioned phenomena? Depends on many condition. So me is conditioned phenomena. The me is a physical phenomena or non-physical phenomena? Me. Physical phenomena or show? That means I think all of you already forgotten the collective topic.
Non-associated formation, Geshe.
Yeah, right. All conditioned phenomena subsume into how many parts? 3, right? 3 divisions, right? Form, consciousness, then
Non-associated formation.
non-associated formation. Right? Therefore, the human beings, sentient beings, Buddha Shakyamuni, Bodhisattva, all humans like a beings, not human and sentient, just a being who has a mind. All beings are not physical phenomena. They are non-physical phenomena. Right? So how the me and I, compose, establish. Now you just, pinpoint yourself, your I, me, like me, my name is Yonten. How me compose, exist, establish. At the beginning for us, me is look like very independent from inside, right? Neither my hand, nor my head, nor my heart, nor my consciousness. Look, we feel we have an independent I, Atma. Therefore, according to Hindu tradition, they accept permanent I, permanent soul, permanent Atma. Nothing to do with the 5 organs. Nothing to do with the what we call the 5 forms. That's true, according to Hindu tradition. So now I ask you a question, everybody just answer in your mind, how, like you yourself, yeah, you can say me, you can say yourself, me and my, how actually I compose, I exist. Am I exist totally, am I distinct from the, the 5 forms, 5 aggregates, or am I oneness with the 5 aggregates? Right? Just you must think me, I is a oneness with the 5 aggregates, or am I totally distinct from the 5 aggregates? Think. Then if you're thinking quite in a long time, like let's 6, 4, 5 hours, then you realize, if I believe me and I is totally distinct from my 5 aggregates, then you're going to feel it doesn't make sense. For example, I told you, when you see somebody face, what we say, usually we say, I saw you, I touch you. When somebody touch your shoulder, they say, oh, you're touching me, right? Touching me. In a way, I is, our body is part of I. Parts of I. Also, we cannot say the body is I, me, or being. It looks like part of the me. Also, when you are like a man is arising, your compassion arising, then you say, I'm very compassionate person. He's very compassionate person. Also, me is look like, the compassion, the man is part of me. When you have a pleasant feeling, then what we say, I am very happy. Therefore, the feeling also part of you, look like. When you have an unpleasant feeling, what we say, I am not so happy. Unpleasant also, the feeling also part of you. Therefore, we cannot say, I am, 5 aggregates. We cannot say the 5 aggregates are me, my body is me, my consciousness is me, my feeling is me, my perception is me. We cannot say. So what is showing me and I is just established based on the 5 aggregates. Now for us, it's total illusion, me and 5 aggregates. We feel I'm independent. When you analyze, I'm very much dependent on the 5 aggregates. That means appear, one way, reality, other way. That means illusion. Therefore, so if you learn the negation, also the innate ignorance, how to realize all phenomena as an illusion, using the analogy of illusory, the magician elephant. Finally, you're going to learn all phenomena are look like illusion, according to the Swadanta school. Right? So now page number 181. So we just finish identifying the object of negation according to the Swatantra school. Identifying, grasping at the true existence according to the Pasangika Madhyamaka standpoint. If one understands how, according to the system, phenomena are posited through the mere conceptualization, one can then easily recognize how its opposite would constitute grasping at the true existence. This is a very short sentence, but very important. If one understands how, according to this system and the Pasangika system, phenomena are posited through mere conceptualization, then one can then easily recognize how its opposite would constitute grasping at the true existence. This presentation has two parts: how phenomena are posited through the conceptualization and the presenting the grasping at the true existence, the contra apprehension. Now there's a paragraph from the question of Upali's states. The flower was their open petal are the delight so many minds. The supreme goal missions resplendent and the attractive. None of this has the creator. They are posited through the power of consciousness. Through the conceptualization, the world is inputted. So this, I ask you to memorize. I hope some of you remember, because I think already memorized. So in Tibetan, there's a naso yung meto hachejing. Sergi kancho barwa yongwa. Dine de la chebo gamete dita tobe wangi jabayins. Naso yung meto hachejing. For example, when you look at the garden, you can see lot of beautiful flowers. Sergi kancho barwa yongwa. Also, when you look at the palace, the beautiful, house, putting a lot of gold plate, because it's beautiful, attractive. Dida de la chebo game, there's no such as creator. Everything posited by conceptualization. Naso yon meto kachejin sergi kancho barwa yionwa dini de la chebo game de dida tobe wangi jabayin. So please memorize this one. So before you meditate on emptiness, you recite these verses and reflect the meaning. Then the ugliness, attractive, the beautiful, not beautiful, everything is established by the conceptualization. Through the conceptualization, the world inputted. So next we will study about the negation, the innate ignorance, the grasping at the true existence according to the Pasangika. Okay, so today we can stop our class here. So tomorrow, Sunday, no class. So we have still like 10 minutes. For the 10 minutes, we will recite the mantra of Amida Buddha or dedicating to Lama Zopa Rinpoche's reincarnations. It is, I think, according to Tibetan tradition, we believe we have the, kind of tradition to recognize the reincarnations. Even though this day there's maybe around 400 or 500 reincarnation in Sera, Drepung Gomang, also Nyingma, Sagya, Gilo traditions. Among the reincarnations, almost, let's say, like 80 or 90% not really follow the previous Rinpoche's activities. So it is very important to have the reincarnation of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, but I am very concerned the reincarnation won't be spoiled. Because when the reincarnation, reincarnate in anywhere, doesn't matter which area, which place, which country, then many people really pay respect, or many people, bring the reincarnation here and there when they are very little boy. Then the boy slowly, indulge with the samsaric happiness, the samsaric things. Then very easy to spoil the reincarnations. So all we together to dedicate, do the dedication for have a unmistakable reincarnation. The reincarnation purely carry the previous Rinpoche's activities, wish to possess all the good qualities which is possess the previous Rinpoche's, like Lama Zopa Rinpoche's. Sang ye jo dang zo ye jo nang la, chang jo bar do dang ni ke zo je, da ge chen so ye pe de. Ro la pen je sang ye ro bar sho. Om Ami Deva Shri Om Ami Deva. Om Ami Deva Shri Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Zo Om Dare Du Dare Zo. Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Ye So Ha Ike Wa Gundo Yang Da Lama. Deme Che Ye Pa La Long Je Je Sa Da Lam Je Yun De Ra Zo Ne Do Je Chang Ge Go Ba Nyu Do Do Ike Wa Gundo Yang Da Lama. Deme Che Ye Pa La Long Je Je Sa Da Lam Je Yun De Ra Zo Ne Do Je Chang Ge Go Ba Nyu Do Do Ike Wa Gundo Yang Da Lama. Deme Che Ge Pa La Long Je Sada Lam Ye Yun De Ra Zo Ne Do Je Chang Ge Go Ba Nyu Do Je De Yang Be Ye Ba Da Je Mene Chune Za Se Za Chen So Ma Zhu Mo Ge Gu Pa Gun Jin Ne Ci Ren Ne Me Di Ki Den Ba Re Shuo Chang Zhu Sen Zhu Rin Bo Je Ma Ke Pa Na Ge Gyu Je Ke Wa Nian Ba Me Ba Gun Ne Gun Do Be Wa Zhu Dong Nie Da Wa Rin Bo Je Ma Ke Pa Na Ge Gyu Je Ke Wa Nian Ba Me Ba 오늘 공도 배워 쇼 파마 semje 담제 대단 댕기로지 년로 담자 다도 동와 장주 세바 가나 수주 대다 군제 모나 주교제 잠바바외 제대로 견바당 군도 정보 대양 대제 대다 군제 제조다 로제 개와 대다 담자라고 뜻숨시베 개와 탐제 오와간라 초도 아바데 다게게외 자완디군 zambo jeje rado ngowari. Okay, thank you so much. Have a happy Saturday. Thank you. Thank you.